Now,
Right.
speaking of Canada and NVIDIA,
Mm.
we saw the comparison that
Mm.
NVIDIA
Yes.
is almost worth the same as our Canadian economy. Welcome to another podcast series here on YouTube. We're excited to be with you. Pierre gave me this tie. Look at that. Don't I look amazing? All right, look at that. Amazing stuff. All right, we're here, of course, transforming your dollars to dreams, and we're always helping you do that. And
Try to.
speaking of dollars to dreams,
Mhm.
being an NVIDIA investor,
Okay, here we go.
because I had the foresight to see that if you have a plan,
hmm
because I have a man with a plan
hmm
working with me for my finances,
hmm
I've invested, or I would have invested in NVIDIA when there was a dip. They always say buy the dip,
Buy the dip.
but it's not always going to work
Yeah.
out. But in this case, I thought, you know what, this is a top seven. What did it? Big seven.
Big magnificent
Seven
yes.
stock.
hmm
And more than likely, these stocks are resilient. These are big
Mhm.
companies. They have a lot of money.
hmm
They're gonna find a way.
hmm
So I trust that I was going to endure the risk,
Mhm.
because there's big risk here.
hmm
And, this is where you talk with your advisor, you talk with the team, and they advise you the risk that you're undertaking.
hmm
And, of course, that this is a long-term plan.
Exactly.
Right? I was advised that this is a long-term plan.
And I know I've said that to you numerous
Yes.
times. It's not it's not a short-term gain type of thing. It's a
Right.
long-term play. They're a dominant player. So if they were in Canada, we would call them a blue chip.
That is correct.
A blue chip stock.
Now,
Right.
speaking of Canada and NVIDIA,
hmm
we saw the comparison that
Mm.
NVIDIA is almost worth the same as our Canadian economy.
Yes.
That is whopping.
That's massive. So Nvidia is worth about 2 trillion,
Yeah.
and our Canadian economy is about 2.2
Yeah.
trillion dollars. So what does that tell me? It tells me it's as big as our economy. So you don't want to be all in, right?
That's
That was
right.
one of my
That's
things
right.
I said. You don't want to be all in.
Yeah.
I'd rather be in the Canadian economy because the Canadian economy is massive and it's
That is correct.
well diversified. Good stock, but don't go all in.
All in. And that's the reason you've got to diversify, because so at the same time
Mhm.
of buying NVIDIA when there was a dip,
Mm-hmm.
there was another green stock,
Mhm.
another bank
Mhm.
dividend stock,
Mhm.
which is not as risky
Mhm.
because they don't fluctuate
Mhm.
tremendously
Mhm.
over time. So I don't want to use the word hedge, but it's kind of like I've bought a high risk stock,
Yes.
but I've hedged against that high risk by buying a low risk dividend stock.
Exactly, and it's a green bank.
It's a green bank.
we won't, and I definitely push that on you.
Yeah.
But this is kind of having a plan whereby, yes, have some very risky type of investment, but soften the blow with some more conservative and moderate investment, whereby your overall risk tolerance is still moderate,
Yes.
but while still having some, investments that may fluctuate, that may, leave you either gray
Yes.
or lose a bit of your hair.
That's right.
Right. So more gray on
That's
on
this side.
part. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But this is where, again, this could be a lesson to all of us.
Mhm.
Like in the difficult times, in the times that you're struggling, yes, it might seem like there's no light at the end of the tunnel.
Mhm.
But if you stick to your plan, you trust who you are,
Mhm.
and you believe that you've got, the right tools.
Mhm.
That is by working with,
An
a team,
advisor.
an advisor
Mhm.
who you can lean on.
Mhm.
I can't lean on him, but he's gonna fall down. But figuratively,
Mhm.
you can do this in the hard times, so that when the storm is over,
Mhm.
amen,
Mhm.
you will see
Yes.
the light.
So probably one of the best ways to invest is to do the dollar cost averaging that we've talked about, right? So that way, yes, you're right, buying the dip, but who's got money all the time, right?
That's
When
right.
the dip occurs. So steady as she goes. So buy, as little as $40-$50 on a weekly, bi-weekly
the average
pay,
cost basis,
right?
yeah.
You will get the dip by doing that. And buy it in your TFSA. Not necessarily NVIDIA
Yeah,
in your
because of
TFSA, because
yeah,
there
a little
could
bit
be
of
some
dividend there,
tax component when you
Mhm.
buy foreign or U.S. paying dividend stocks in your TFSA.
Yeah.
But other types of investments, Canadian dividend producing investment,
Hmm.
buy it on a weekly, bi-weekly,
Yeah.
and then you will be buying on the dip. And
That's right.
again, as long as you're there for the long term.
And I just want to, yes, it's not you're not going to always have money to buy on a dip, but this is where
Mhm.
you again having a plan where you've built up
Mhm.
your emergency savings,
Exactly.
right? You've built up maybe 6 to 9 months, and
Mhm.
ideally you want 6 months. So if
Mhm.
you can just when there's a dip,
Mhm.
you just tap it into a month. You can consider this
Yeah.
an emergency,
Yep.
an emergency investment, right? And this is where you can tap into your emergency fund. So having an emergency fund with a long-term plan of investment,
Mhm.
this is where it also makes sense.
Exactly. As long as when you're buying that investment, I mean, we're talking about NVIDIA. It could be anything.
Yeah.
As long as you're buying that investment, you're gearing it for the long term. And what I mean by long term, before I would say 10 years or more. Now, I'll go down to 5 years or more. If you need the money prior to 5 years, don't invest.
Yeah.
Save it. Put it in a GIC. Put it in a money market, because if you need that money tomorrow, you don't want to be at the mercy of the market. So
That's right.
you've got 5 years, before retirement, 5 years before or more before your educational goal, invest in the market.
That's right. So there you go. The lessons learned from NVIDIA over the last week.
Mhm.
All right. That's what we hope that we could have embarked on today. I think we've stressed on the key pillars there.
Yeah, diversification,
Yeah,
stay the course, be invested for the long term. Know your risk tolerance,
That's
the
right.
risk, kind of a risk management approach to it. Because we're not saying that Nvidia or any tech stock is suitable for everyone. Definitely not suitable for my mom.
That's right.
Right?
That's
Definitely not suitable for my mom. But for someone like you,
I wouldn't even
it's
go as
suitable.
far as your mom. It's not suitable for the guy on my left, right?
I don't own it.
He's pushing 80. You don't want to put NVIDIA in his
Don't put me
portfolio.
over the edge.
Yeah, right. So that's
Are you,
what
are you saying 80 and my golf score, right?
Oh, what are you
what you're-
saying? What are you saying? Golf score. Oh, the lies. But of course, and also one of the things that came out of this is working with your advisor is where you can be able to have a conversation in the difficult times so that you can weather the storm when necessary.
Exactly.
All right. So transforming your dollars to dreams. That's what we're here. And we've just lost power here in our studio. But that doesn't mean it's the end all. We are gonna get power again.
There you go. You see, it's
Efficiency.
working through the chaos, right?
That
We were prepared for that.
Even in the dark times, we continue
Exactly.
going with you
We stay
until the light comes back.
Exactly.
It's all in the theater of the episode here today. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And of course, like, subscribe, share, and give this guy a call. And have a financial, he'll work with you to have a financial plan for your future. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.